I'm Troy. So, portions. Now there is a file in the group that gives you a visual template for creating a portion controlled diet. So this is something you can do without having to track or count calories. This is in place of just giving you a meal plan. I don't do meal plans because meal plans don't work. For a start, they're not bespoke, so I have no idea what your taste preferences are, and if I wrote out a meal plan, it would probably be full of foods and meals that you don't enjoy, so you're not going to eat them, are you? Research has even shown that people just don't follow meal plans, so there's no point in giving you a generic, rigid meal plan. And just anecdotally, from what I've experienced over the years working with clients, if I give somebody a meal plan because they've said to me, look, I don't want to think about this, I just want to be told what to eat, unconsciously what they're actually saying there is just give me an excuse to fail, because if you give me this and I don't follow it, it's your fault. So meal plans don't work, but this is a template for helping you to build the plate. So remember what I said in the first video about eating mostly whole foods most of the time, that having protein with every meal and complex carbohydrates with most of your meals, that stuff matters. This is how you do it. So, a palm of protein, a fist of carbohydrates, a thumb of fats. As I said, there is a file in the group that you can look at and read that will break this down to make it a little bit more visual for you. So a palm of protein is a quality protein source that fits on the palm of your hand like that. As a kind of guide, you can think a medium-sized chicken breast is probably going to deliver around 40 to 45 grams of protein. That's plenty. 3 to 4 eggs, say a 3 to 4 egg omelette, is going to be around 25-30 grams. That's fine. So if the majority of the protein sources you're eating fit in the palm of your hand, then you're going to be in the right ballpark for the amount of protein per grams of serving that you need. Carbohydrates are fists. So let's say wet rice, mashed potato, sweet potato wedges, 1 to 2 fists per serving on your plate. Okay, we're using the hands because everybody has hands, and hands are roughly relatable to the size of the individual. If you've got very large hands, then I would just use the palm of your hand for the protein, not the fingers, and maybe go with half a fist. But for the most part, this works. It balances out. I've done the maths on myself and a number of clients, and you're usually within a couple of hundred calories per day, based on using generic calorie predictive equations and working out how many grams and how many calories per serving using this. So I've done the maths. So all you need to know is every meal, a palm of protein, 1 to 2 fists of complex carbohydrates, 1 to 2 thumbs of fat. Now this is the more complicated one. That might be cooking oil, it might be a salad dressing, it might be a spread like butter, but it might be some oil that's in, say, a fatty cut of meat. So maybe you've got some pork chops, a couple of pork steaks that fit on the palm of your hand maybe, or maybe a serving of oily fish like salmon. So they've probably got at least a thumb of carbohydrate of fat in them. So if you've got two fists of carbs, probably go for 1 thumb of fat. If you've got 1 fist of carbs, you can maybe go for 2 thumbs of fat. You also need to work out how many meals per day you're going to be eating. If you're a large athlete with a very high training volume, you're probably going to need to be eating at least 5 meals a day to get enough calories in. So this will be per meal on your plate, and that will be based on how many meals per day. So it'll be this times 3 times 4 times 5, depending on your training volume and your size as an athlete. As I said in the previous one, if for whatever reason you're trying to cut weight, then maybe just cut back a little bit on the carbs. That will give you fewer calories. But do remember that carbs are still really important for exercise, and you don't want to be going super low carb for the sort of exercise you're going to be doing, because it's just going to mess up your performances. And again, more about that in a later video. Okay, so palm of protein, 1 or 2 fists of complex carbs, 1 or 2 thumbs of fat or oil on your plate every meal. And that could be 3, 4 or 5 meals a day. Laters.